When it comes to influence, the album Tommy cannot be denied. What spawned rock operas and concept albums started right here with a deaf, dumb, and blind kid who plays a mean pinball. With themes including abuse, trauma, and mysticism without the psychedelia, many think this is an album that should be regarded as a masterpiece. That being said, for me, this album has issues. Although Tommy might be one of the first concept albums, it is not one of the best. Why, you ask? The goal of a rock opera is to tell a story, and when it comes to telling a story, this album falls flat. Pete Townshend might be a great songwriter, but that doesn't necessarily make him a great fiction writer. One tries to follow what is happening in the songs, but it isn't long before you get lost. At first, the plot makes sense. I mean, sort of. Tommy goes into shock after seeing his stepfather murder his father. So what happens? Tommy goes deaf, dumb, and blind over the event, takes up pinball, and becomes famous. That's already a little bit out there, but then he becomes the messiah of a religious cult who speaks through divine intervention by pinball. There's also these weird undertones of Tommy being left alone with an uncle who fiddles about. And it definitely seems to be implying what you're thinking. I'm always game for symbolism and complex ideas in an album or a film, but I don't understand what we're trying to get at here. And by that, I mean this. What's the major concept? Is it family issues? Is it religious dogmatism? Is it abuse and trauma? Pete can't come to a conclusion. He's all over the place, trying to shove all of his thoughts about life into an 80-minute piece. But there's a movie. Surely the visual elements must help us interpret what is happening. Nope, it's pretty terrible and a rough watch at best. The thing that makes it the most unbearable is the film's pretentiousness and obtuseness. You watch the movie with the added Christ-like symbolism and you keep thinking to yourself, surely Pete has a point here, right? He's trying to tell us something. But what is it? As many times as I've listened to the album and watched the movie, I can't find it. And that, my friends, is incredibly frustrating. I'm not saying, oh, I need to have these themes flashing, blinding in my face like a pinball machine, but I'm pretty good at analyzing music. I'm pretty good at analyzing films, but I don't know what he's saying. So why does he expect the general listener and watcher to have a clue what the hell he's getting at? Then the movie has larger issues. The music. Roger Daltrey, the singer for The Who, plays Tommy, which means for a large portion of the film, he is unable to sing because he's deaf, dumb, and blind. In doing so, there is an unintentional symbolism for which the first time in the movie actually makes sense. We see The Who lose their voice through Townshend's pretentious, unfocused drivel. The sound of The Who is lost, whether it be the hard-rocking backbeats or the sultry sound of Daltrey's voice. Even on the album, The Who feels like they were shot with a tranquilizer and are a shadow of who they can be. Where are the banging rockers? The best we get is Pinball Wizard and I'm Free, and they're good songs, but the rest of this album is honestly skippable. Where's The Who's musicality? So if you don't have a good story or good songs, what do you have? When you strip this album to the core, it's mediocre at best. And look, I get it. I'm not trying to knock Townshend and The Who. I've always loved the band, but I'm not going to protect an album just because people say it's influential. And yes, I understand. I'm willing to acknowledge. I get it. They're creating a genre here. And when you're the first to the block, you can't compare yourself to anything else. You're trailblazers. The artists that came after had things The Who didn't have. Something to compare themselves to and time to figure it out. But forget this is a concept album for a second. And I'm questioning what the major concept of that album even is. What is this album? In my opinion, it's a flop. If you haven't run away to go to the comment section to write nasty things about me, there is a silver lining to the story. The Who do figure it out. Not perfectly, but a more solid realization of a concept album is their 1972 release Quadrophenia. Why is this album better? Because Townshend remembers he isn't a scriptwriter, but a songwriter. That album is much more complex. Yes, the concept is silly. A kid who has 4 different split personalities inside of him that vie for control. Each Who member represents a different personality using their voice to distinguish who they are on the album. But what's most interesting is how Pete illustrates the 4 personalities not only lyrically, but through the music. Each personality has different riffs played by different instruments. When you hear one of them, you can tell who is supposed to be speaking and which personality is trying to maintain control, and often they fight. Take the title track, for example, Quadrophenia, an instrumental track that plays the motifs over each other to create one complex song. You'll hear the trumpet from Helpless Dancer, with a synth from Love Rain on Me under it, and interspersed in between, there's the guitar riff from Is It Me. When a bunch of musicians form a band, each member plays their instrument in an effort to serve a larger piece of music. Of course, we know this. That's how songs are made. But the interesting part in Quadrophenia is this album showcases this in a meta way. Each member of The Who uses their personality or instrument through one character to serve a larger purpose or band. At times, each of the Who members tries to fight for control with a solo or instrumental break, but the way they're the most effective is when they play together to create harmonious music. I think in writing Quadrophenia, Pete figured it out. He realized he was being pretentious with Tommy and selfish to boot. He made the rest of the band live out his unfinished concept, and although they played along, they lost who they were. Most importantly, Pete found himself as well. He remembered he wasn't a novelist, he wasn't a screenwriter. He was a songwriter, and a great one to boot. Unfortunately, there was a movie for Quadrophenia. If you can help yourselves, stay far, far away from that. It's terrible. I hope you enjoyed another album spotlight. Thanks for stopping by. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this for more content. Hope this helps. Love you all.